Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we do every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our intro music is provided from the Podshow PodSafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com. Also, feel free to email your topics for discussion, suggestions, and comments to incoherentramblings@live.com. This is Christopher.
This is Eric.
It is October the 8th, 2009. We're here live from the C&E, internationally famous C&E studios in Greensboro, North Carolina. How are you today, Eric?
Oh, I'm flustered. How are you?
Flustered. just a little flustered, are you?
I just walked in at the last 30 seconds.
I had to give Eric a demerit and make him go in the hallway because he was talking as the show was going live on another call. So he is in the midst of needing to take care of some personal business, and so he may have to step away during the show.
Trying to buy a house, and with these new laws, it's next to impossible. It's been dragging on for 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Had clear to close last Friday.
Right.
Had to close by this Friday in order to not cost several $100s or lose the deal altogether.
Right.
And now, because of the current administration's genius plans they put in place to protect homeowners from buying a house, they are making it next to impossible to close. Apparently I don't want to get into details, but they call it the HARA-HOPA laws, the Housing and Economic Recovery Act and the Homeownership and Equity Protection Act. It makes closing on time next to impossible. So,
I can add to that rant.
Please.
It wasn't really a full-out rant, but it was voicing your opinion on something. I tried to refinance my house back in June, as you know. Lined up for a great deal, like low interest rate. Wasn't going to get penalized with PMI because I've never paid it. And just because the housing market around here has crashed, the new administration, and they're genius, as you said, they were trying to say, and I agree with it in theory. They're like, well, if you're not paying PMI now and you can't help all the foreclosures, you shouldn't be penalized because of your low appraisal and have to pay PMI.
Right.
So I wasn't even going to have to get an appraisal. And then they said I had to have an appraisal, but still I wouldn't have to pay PMI. Well, the genius of our new administration, somebody decided to come up with this clause in there that says that whoever is on the current loan has to be on the new loan. Oh, well, that's sheer stupidity. If you were married to someone and then that person left the state and ran off with someone else, how can you? why should that be penalized? Why should you be penalized against that? So it's so funny. I've said that to people, and they bristle up and say that I can't blame the new president. But under our former president, if someone sneezed the wrong way, he got blamed on it. Mm-hmm. So I'm blaming our current president because it was his administration that put this into effect, right. And it's absolutely purely idiotic. There's no other way to say it. That me and my wife have to both be on, my former ex-wife, we're no longer legally married, have to be on the new loan together. That's just stupidity. So I agree with you there. These new laws that they have in place.
Well, apparently, you have if you buy a house, the lender has to give you 4 days before closing, after someone's been prepared, or the truth in lending's been prepared, for you to be able to review the truth in lending revised truth in lending statement. 4 days. How long does it take you to read a 2-page document?
I don't even read it.
4 days.
I just look at the terms and the interest rate and make sure that everything's at what we agreed on, and then I sign it.
Right.
Actually, with Quicken Loans, you just sign it online. You just click and then submit.
Well, now you'll have 4 days to read that.
Right.
Before you click that next time.
We're already past that. But yeah, our new administration is I think like inept is a proper word.
It's like they're looking for ways to keep things from happening.
Yeah.
In an industry that's already suffering enough.
Right.
I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. We're supposed to be starting with uplifting and good stories.
And you know what? My source of good news has the exact, and I just checked it because I've been checking it all week. I just checked it like literally while we were talking. My source of good news has the exact same links that it did last week. There's nothing new. And last week we didn't have much. This week I have none.
I don't know what I have.
I do have some good stories.
You know, I can make any kind of story into a good news story.
Yes, I do have some funny stories, but I don't have any good news stories per se.
Would this be a good story? Man recovering after septic tank rescue?
Yeah. Well, it's a rescue.
It's a rescue.
There is a rescue involved. Well, let's just take a step back.
Okay.
If someone wanted to call us, how could they do that?
Oh, they can call us by dialing 646-716-6928.
Yeah, and they could also go to blogtalkradio.com/incoherent ramblings and do all manner of things.
Indeed.
MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, even go to iTunes.
There you go. iTunes is our preferred method.
Yes.
Subscribe. Download.
Say good things about it.
A plethora of great stories.
Yes. Or bad things. Say whatever you will.
Yeah.
We're not trying to sway the vote.
Yeah.
To speak your mind. But,
I've got a good story today. Not a good news story.
Woman attacked. Woman attacked.
That was sent to me by a listener that I have to share.
I have a listener-submitted story. It's very odd and also I found to be quite entertaining. And so you have the listener-submitted story. I saw that.
She knew I have a fear of raccoons, so she sent me that story.
And as our UK correspondent said, they also have Click to Talk, which we think somebody has been doing. People don't believe us. This is the honest truth. The 2 calls that we've had over the past couple of weeks, we those were not put on by us. Like, a lot of times
we have been guilty of doing that.
We have been guilty of
We're not actually trying to do it, but people that we know.
Right. People that we've known have called in and pretended to be from a story or from an area where a story was. They weren't staged, but
we knew where they were coming from.
And we went with it.
And
we rolled with it. These past 2, we have no clue who's been doing it. Okay. And I believe it's the same person with some way of changing their voice.
Right.
And the first one was funny. The second one, they didn't have much to go with, and I thought it was going to go awfully wrong, but it didn't. Oh my goodness.
That one's for you.
That is a good story. So, if they call in again, I don't know how sure I am I'm going to take the call. I don't know. Last week, we got the kill sign, and I was getting ready to do it anyhow. So anyhow, yes, but we like interacting with our listeners. We have stories this week sent to us by our listeners. You do have one that is a good story. Someone being rescued.
Yeah, that is a rescue story. That's the only one I could possibly make into a good story.
Well, why don't you lead off with that?
Okay. Probably should have read this a little bit more. But there are a few things in life better than good neighbors and a good dog. Already feeling uplifted.
Maybe perhaps taking a steam bath in the sewer, right?
A man says he might not be alive right now if it weren't for his neighbor and her dog. 80-year-old Paul Paff fell into a collapsed septic tank yesterday afternoon and was stuck for several hours, but a good dog and a good neighbor found him and got help.
Wow.
Let's see here. Paff is doing well. He's in good spirits, which is also good news. He's grateful. Should be. He went through a lot yesterday and told us today that he has a whole story aside from a mousetrap under his eye. Sounds like an old 80-year-old man just talking nonsense to me. Does that sound like somebody talking good?
Maybe it was the drugs.
He says he's feeling wonderful, just wonderful. It felt wonderful last night. I got home and spent 2 hours and had a long bath.
I would have a very long bath.
He said he had a 2-hour bath to wash off 5 hours in a septic tank. Anyway.
That's pretty nasty. And you know what? Yeah, I don't know if he was in any kind of peril of death or whatever, but he was definitely in a stinky situation.
Well, I tell you, he said the dog came in because he came over to the opening,
right,
and was barking. And every time he thought the dog was going to leave, he'd bark at the dog,
right,
and the dog would keep barking,
right.
And eventually it barked enough that the neighbor
came out and checked.
Well,
so I mean, the dog definitely saved him.
Yeah.
And I mean, even if you weren't at risk of dying, that would be a horrible place to be stuck.
Or that'd be a crappy place to be stuck.
Oh, we're here all week. Don't forget to tip your waitress. Oh boy.
Anyway, you feeling good now?
Oh man, I feel uplifted.
I did have a story I was going to look for, and I forgot to look it up before I came. I saw on the news, local news, that some old couple had like their 80th anniversary, which I thought was kind of cool.
That is.
You don't find too many 80-year anniversaries going on.
No, 80? Wait a second. I thought they were turning 80 together.
No. They were married for 80. They've been married for 80 years. They're 98 years old.
Wow.
And they've been married for 80 years. I guess they got married when they were 18.
That is pretty impressive.
They were interviewed, and they actually were pretty lucid.
Right. My maternal grandparents were married at 16 and 17. And my maternal grandmother, her sister, my Aunt Ruby, got married when she was 14, and her husband was 17. And they were married 67 years. And he passed away, and then she lived several years after him. So that's 67 years, pretty long time. But 80 years, that is impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's do you remember, are they here local?
No, they weren't local. Google them. Google an 80-year anniversary. Can't be too many of them.
Right.
I should have done my homework, but I got caught up in this, trying to get this closing to happen.
Well, here's 80th wedding anniversary gifts and ideas.
Yeah.
A casket?
Probably a big market for that.
I have a link that's not working. We'll see if we can find. We'll see if we can find them. That would be. I have. You know what? Why don't we? I'm gonna lead off with my listener submitted story.
Okay.
As an homage to her. This is a short story, and it comes to us from Sioux City, Iowa. You know, I've often said, if you want a good party, go to Sioux City. I mean, people have even thought about getting it for a bumper sticker party.
Party town.
I mean, that's what I've said, and this is how they roll in Sioux City. You'll never see this clown in the circus. Animal control officers in Sioux City, Iowa, say someone dressed a dead deer in a clown suit and a wig and put it on a family's front porch. Officers suspect it was a prank. You think? What else would it be? They suspect it was a prank considering Halloween is approaching, but they say it's not funny, safe, or acceptable. And I have to disagree with them.
I find it funny.
That is quite funny. It's obviously not safe, and it probably isn't acceptable, but it is funny.
I don't see where it's unsafe.
Lyme disease and a rotting corpse is harboring disease and whatnot. Not the safest thing. The deer was discovered Wednesday morning. Animal control officer Jake Apple says leaving a dead animal is immature and illegal. He says officers will dispose of the deer properly. Sioux City police have not opened an investigation. And that's all there is to the story.
Whoever's responsible for that, I want to party with you.
I mean, the best part is, they said dressed a dead deer in a clown suit. Now that had me laughing, but and a wig. Can you imagine getting up? You know, you're getting ready to go out and get your newspaper, and you open the door and there's a deer wearing a clown costume and a wig.
I know what I'm going to be for Halloween.
And I am on call, so you're actually, in a situation where you could be needing to take a phone call, and anytime that I notice that I have a blinking light on my phone, I'm going to have to take a second to check it because for my work I'm on call. So we're all over the place today. A dead deer in a clown costume. I wonder if they put like a little.
The visual is far better than the picture.
I'm sure. Can you imagine if they put like a red nose on him? I don't know. It'd be like Rudolph or something. I don't know. But
red nose clown. Oh, clowns have red nose.
Have like a little flower squirting water. I don't know. It's just it sounds like something from a Far Side.
It does.
Comic strip, to be honest with you. Anyhow, thank you for a listener from right here from the Greensboro area that sent that to us yesterday. So, thought that was an interesting story.
Yes.
Why don't you share a story with us?
Well, let's see. This is what got my attention because I immediately thought of you.
Right.
Because you love midgets, or little people, or dwarfs.
Right.
This one, the title of the story was "Dwarf Gets Penis Glued to Vacuum Cleaner." So, a British dwarf who was performing at the Edinburgh Festival found his penis glued to a vacuum cleaner while preparing for a live show. Sounds like a show you'd like to see, Chris. Daniel Blackner, known as Captain Dan, the Demon Dwarf.
Captain Dan,
the Demon Dwarf, performed at the Circus of Horrors, known for its oddball and offbeat performances. As part of the show, the dwarf pulled a Henry vacuum cleaner using a special attachment across the show attached to his penis. However, the vacuum cleaner was broken before a performance, and a performer placed extra strong glue on the attachment to fix it, neglecting to wait the entire 20 minutes required for the glue to dry, which resulted in his penis becoming glued to the vacuum cleaner.
Penis.
Yes. After being rushed to the A&E Department of Edinburgh Royal Infirmary, Blackner was freed after an hour and remarked that it was the most embarrassing moment of my life when I got wheeled into a packed A&E with a vacuum cleaner attached to me. I just wish the ground could swallow me up. Luckily, they saw me quickly, so the embarrassment was short-lived.
It wouldn't take much to swallow him up because he's a dwarf.
Hospital sources confirmed that they treated the performer, but a spokesman for the Royal Infirmary said they could not comment on an individual case.
Well, it's interesting. I'm glad you got Edinburgh correct the second time since we have our UK correspondent on the line.
And that's exactly what went through online. I was going to be corrected if I wasn't careful.
Eric is stepping away to take care of some official business, so you are left with just me. My next story comes from Mumbai, India, as a matter of fact. Wait a second. Let's let Eric get out of the studio. Uh-oh. Well, let's wait until Eric gets out of the studio. Okay, he's not listening to me. I'm gonna take us into another room, back here in the office space here at the C&E Studios. And I apologize to our listeners. Eric is absolutely under the crunch right now, trying to move, purchase a new house, and in doing so, he's run into all manner of red tape and bureaucracy with the lending company, the government section of the HUD, because it's a HUD foreclosure. He's run into issues with just about every possible thing you could think of, and the situation is he's got to the point where he absolutely has to close and be prepared to move in a very short time. So have to cut him a little slack for having to step away to take this call, because, as he said before the show started, this is his livelihood that we're talking about here. So anyhow, I'm not in front of my computer, therefore I don't have my stories in front of me. So I will just try to find something to ramble about, because I can't be in there because Eric's did not leave the room, and he's talking really loudly. So please bear with me. As I'll go back and reiterate, we love listeners. Our UK correspondent, stuck in the 70s, is on not every show, but most every show, which is impressive because he is over in Britain, and the time zones are way off, and it's late, and it's like bedtime, and he still suffers through our foolishness, which we appreciate. And the story I just shared about the deer in the clown suit is also from a listener, and Eric has a story that he's going to share with us from a listener.
I'm sorry, Chris.
No problem. I had to go in there because
I was making you loud.
You're really loud. That's why I said we have to wait until Eric gets out of the
They're going to know all of my business.
All right. I just rambled a bunch of nonsense. So, anyhow, you have a story to share with us. No.
I just finished
shared
a story about Captain Dan the Demon Dwarf.
Yeah, Captain Dan. I have a story from Mumbai, India. It's an interesting story I found. There's one little thing in it that I wanted to point out. But there was a brawl in a mid-air flight. We just had our UK correspondent say, it's not suffering, you guys help me unwind after a long day.
We're the second best thing to help them unwind, next to Bushmills and coffee.
Maybe he tolerates us because of the Bushmills and coffee.
We're always better with Bushmills and coffee.
Yes. So, well, thank you. That's a kind comment to say there. We are glad that we can help you and others in whatever way we can. So, a mid-air scuffle between pilots and crew of an Air India flight this past weekend did not endanger the 106 passengers on board. A spokesman for the airline says 2 pilots and 2 crew members have been grounded following the incident. They were grounded. No TV for you for a week.
Time out.
It began as a heated exchange on a charge of sexual harassment against the pilots by a crew member. Blows were also exchanged in the scuffle that spilled into the cabin late on Saturday night. At no stage was safety compromised. It was a clear case of indiscipline. Our report is still awaited. We will decide on course of action when it is ready. The police are also investigating. I found when I first saw that and it said that it was grounded, I thought it meant that the plane had to be grounded because of what was going on. But that's not how it reads. It specifically says that they were grounded for their action. And then I thought it was funny. It says at no stage was safety compromised. Okay, you got the 2 pilots of the plane spilling out into the cabin, exchanging blows with crew members. I would say safety is definitely an issue there because they're not, piloting the plane.
Right.
I'm sure they had it set up on a course for autopilot, but still, I would feel a little uncomfortable if that were happening personally. Wow. I think they were fighting over little Debbie cakes. Could have been.
I had a story last week, I don't know if you recall, about I think this might have been one of our good news stories. About the woman who bought the rocking chair and she was refinishing it and a note fell out with a key and it was like a treasure.
Right. There was a treasure.
Like a treasure map to some hidden golden coins buried in somebody's yard.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got an update.
Okay.
Treasure hunt halted as possible prank. Okay. This comes from Springfield, Illinois. An Illinois woman who set out on a treasure hunt for buried gold coins after finding a cryptic note in an antique rocking chair may have been the victim of a prolific prankster who died more than 30 years ago. With help of a donated backhoe, Patty Hinken recently tore up a vacant lot in Springfield, Illinois, where a typewritten note signed by Chauncey Walcott, Chauncey, found in an old chair she bought at an auction last November, suggested that she would find a chest containing more than 250 U.S. gold coins.
Ooh, that'd be a lot of money.
That would be some money. The dig turned up nothing but bricks and old bottles. He can plan to return Tuesday with the donated services of a man with ground-penetrating radar meant to detect any buried items. But the treasure notes promise may already be debunked. An Iowa woman who read news accounts of the hunt said she knows Walcott's true identity, John J. Slavin, a notorious practical joker and coin collector who often used a typewriter in his pranks. Slavin used the pen name Chauncey Walcott and lived for decades at the location where the dig took place until his death in 1976.
What if there really is some gold coins there, though?
What if?
If he was a coin collector.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That is true. If he lived there and was a coin collector, maybe this is the one time it wasn't a prank.
Right.
Anyway, I just thought that I would share that story, that little update, and I will leave the next story to you.
That's how we like to do. We like to actually update stories from week to week when we find them. I have a story.
Okay.
Not exactly what I would call a good story, but it was still of interest. A lot of our stories were, how should I put this? Not the best decision making is used. Most often, there's alcohol involved, as we know. As we often say on the show, people should not drink and drive. If you look at the stats of wrecks and whatnot, it's just not a good choice. And also, not drinking and driving, I think it's also safe to say you shouldn't drink and then crawl into a zoo and crawl over the fence where large carnivorous animals are living. That's what happened in our next story. Calgary, Alberta. A man who broke into the Calgary Zoo early Monday and scaled a fence around a tiger exhibit was hospitalized with serious injuries after he was attacked by a tiger. Zoo spokesman Graham Newton said two men, both 27, broke into the zoo around 1 a.m. by scaling an 8-foot-high main fence topped with barbed wire. They were pretty determined to get in. Newton said one man climbed an outer safety fence around the tiger enclosure. A Siberian tiger, a 2-year-old named Vitaly, poked the man with a claw and pulled the man's arm through the inner fence. Police were investigating and said they were considering charges of breaking and entering. They haven't determined whether alcohol was involved. Well, I can go ahead and say in the time there, it definitely was, because I can't think of why anyone sober and sane would climb into a fence with a large Siberian tiger. So either they were drunk or clinically insane, possibly both. It wouldn't be something I would try, Newton said. I don't think any reasonable person would want to get that close to a potentially dangerous carnivore. Vitaly was examined by the zoo's veterinarian before being put back on display. Vitaly was born at the zoo in July 2007 to much fanfare because there are only an estimated 450 Siberian tigers left in the world. In a similar incident, a man sneaked into a grizzly bear pen at the San Francisco Zoo on September 26th. He was promptly spotted and removed. The man had no contact with the bear and was uninjured. Because of that, San Francisco Zoo has implemented new security measures. After a 2007 attack in which an escaped Siberian tiger killed a 17-year-old boy and injured 2 other people. Siberian tigers are an endangered species found in the Amur Valley of northeastern Russia and Siberia. They are the largest species of cat in the world. Males weigh 400 to 670 pounds and can grow to be more than 11 feet in length from their nose to the tip of their tail. In the wild, the tigers eat mainly wild boars, deer, and antelope. They ambush their target, sneaking up on it, and then stopping within a few yards until ready to attack, sometimes waiting for up to 2 hours. I usually don't read the end of the story when it kind of
we reconnected?
I don't know.
This show is on, but not streaming.
Well, can the one live listener that we know that we have, if you can hear us, can you let us know in the chat window? The show is on, but not streaming. Well, wait a second. I don't know what to do. Okay, can you guys hear us now? It says the show is on but not streaming, which would say that if it's not streaming, it's not streaming out live. So sounds like it probably would just be recording. Hey, okay. You should be able to hear us now, I believe. Can you hear us now? Stuck in the 70s? I believe, because it says it's on live, and we have 27 minutes remaining, so I don't know. Before it just said it was on. Oh, no? Okay, well, it says that we're on live, and it doesn't, before it said it was that we were on but not streaming.
Right.
Now it says we are.
Yeah, it says so we're going to assume we're on.
Yes.
So what was the last story you did, Chris?
I read this story about these two guys that climbed an 8-foot fence that had barbed wire at the top to get into a pen with a tiger.
Oh!
A Siberian tiger.
That's not recommended, is it?
No. In fact, the zookeeper said that it's not something he would recommend.
Is it against guidelines, or do they have rules against that at the zoo?
Yes. And fortunately, the guy didn't die, but he did get his arm ripped to shreds.
That's not good.
And then I was reading. Usually, I don't read the end of the story when it actually. When it goes away from the actual meat of the story. The meat of this story was this guy climbing into the pen with the tiger. Well, this goes on to tell a little bit about tigers, Siberian tigers. And this last paragraph I found to be, you've seen cats, especially when they're kittens. They're very playful.
Right.
You've seen them antagonize them like a little mouse. They'll paw at it and then let it run, and they'll just sit there and look at it.
Right.
Well, apparently, even when you are the largest cat in the world, you're still a cat.
Okay.
It says in the wild, tigers eat mainly wild boars, deer, and antelope. They ambush their target, sneaking up on it and then stopping within a few yards until ready to attack, sometimes waiting for up to 2 hours. So I can just imagine seeing a cat do that with a little mouse. But a 600-pound beast is sitting there
waiting to pounce.
Just waiting for 2 hours before it jumps on it. It's a game. I guess they wait until they're hungry.
There you go.
I don't know.
So Siberian tigers attacking.
Yes.
I have a story about animals attacking.
Animals going wild.
Yes. This is one that was shared by the listener that I told you about. This one's called Woman Attacked by Gang of Raccoons. I don't know if our listeners know, but I have a fear of raccoons because they're evil.
You have raccoon phobia.
I do have a raccoon. If there's a name for that, I have it. Because they're evil. And once, many years ago, when I was a paper delivery person, I was frightened by a raccoon making evil barking. The raccoon, I didn't know it was a raccoon at the time, but I was throwing a newspaper up on the front porch of somebody's house. Mm-hmm. And as I walked by the bush started shaking. And so I took one more step closer to get closer to the deck. and to the porch, and all of a sudden I heard this noise,
right?
that I didn't know that raccoons made. So I run back to my car, and I put my headlights on that bush, and eventually a fat old raccoon came waddling out.
Right.
So ever since then, I've hated raccoons. They're evil. Anyway, this woman was attacked by a gang of them. It happened in Lakeland, Florida. Lakeland, Florida woman is recovering from serious injuries in the hospital after sheriff's investigators, deputies, say she was gang attacked by 5 raccoons Saturday afternoon.
It was like east side, west side?
Yeah. This was Lakeside, right?
Had their colors?
Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd said 74-year-old Gretchen Whited, who was trying to shoo the animals away from her front door when they suddenly attacked. When she fell down, they enveloped her, sheriff said, and called to warn the public of aggressive raccoons. She's literally bitten and scratched from face and chest all the way down through her legs. Raccoons are known to be aggressive when going after food, but the sheriff said the attack was very unusual.
Yeah, it is unusual for them to attack humans.
Not in all my years in Florida have I known of a gang attack by raccoons on an individual, Sheriff Judd said. Christy Steinmetz lives next door to Whited and ran across the street when she heard her neighbors scream. I've never seen anything like it. They were deep lacerations, and you could see flesh. Anyway, he notified the Lakeland neighborhood about the potential danger, and they're trying to capture these raccoons, these rogue gang raccoons. So
one of the biggest problems in the state of Florida is are gangs.
And they'll test them once they're captured to see if they had rabies.
Well, let's hope. I mean, it's unfortunate this happened, but let's hope for her sake that they don't, because those rabies shots right into the stomach with needles that are about 3 feet long, it goes through your body. I don't want that.
No.
Let me have rabies. Well, wait a second.
Have you seen Old Yeller?
Yeah, that's a horrible movie.
You cried in Old Yeller.
I finally was conned into seeing that turd of a movie. Oh my God. It's a bad movie and poorly made and acted, and then you're crying, and you're like, this movie was too bad to actually be crying at. I was crying because I love dogs.
Right.
And
I bought it for my daughter.
Well, it's a classic.
It is a classic.
It's considered a classic. Well, it's a kid movie. When you're a kid, you don't realize how poorly made a movie is.
Right.
I have another listener submitted story. I forgot.
Well, tell us. I only have the one.
Vampires vow till death do us part. And this is from your home state of Ohio.
Yeah.
Ohio couple seals commitment with a bite at Halloween-themed ceremony. I'm not making this up. This is a real story. A bride and a ghoul, that's lame, a bride and groom have vowed to love each other and haunt and howl at the moon together at a Halloween-themed wedding. The Chronicle Telegram reports that a 61-year-old Jack Halsinger and 44-year-old Connie Spitznagel were both made up as pale-faced vampires for their ceremony Saturday night at a haunted house near Cleveland, Ohio. They chose the location because it's operated by the same people who own a campground where the couple met. Halsinger arrived in a coffin inside a hearse, and the coffin was carried to the altar by 6 pallbearers. Minister Grave Kopp of the First Church of Crazy was dressed as Jason in the Friday the 13th movies.
After this wasn't Vegas.
After vows were exchanged, he ordered Halsinger not to kiss his new bride, but instead to bite her on the neck. I thought it was kind of crazy, but neat, maid of honor, and the bride's sister Kim Spitznagel told the Chronicle Telegram. Her bridesmaid look was fashioned after the Bride of Frankenstein. Like typical mortal couples, the groom said he just wanted his bride to be happy. This is her first wedding. She had a common law marriage the first time around, so she never really got a wedding. It's what she wanted, and it's about her. It's her time, whatever she wanted. So he was doing this for her.
I think that's how the couple has been married 80 years. Maybe apparently it works.
No, that's how they're going to go out together.
Oh, that's right.
Just right around the corner. Can you imagine, though, the groom arriving in a hearse and then carried to the altar by 6 pallbearers? It sounds like that they were meant for each other, to be honest with you.
Oh, my Lord.
And then the minister was dressed up as Jason. That was sent to us by the same listener, as a matter of fact. So
that's awesome. Non-traditional.
Yes. Definitely non-traditional. And then I have several more stories, but I only have one more that I really just have to get to.
Right.
It's really a good story.
I don't know if any of mine are have to get to, but well, I do have our sheep award story. Do you want it?
Yes, absolutely. I'm ready to throw out a sheep.
Here's our sheep award story. Woman charged for having child ride in a box atop a van.
I had that one.
Did you?
Yes.
Is it the one you had to get to, or
no?
This is the filler. This is the filler.
No, I just when I read it, it says 13-year-old girl ride in cardboard box atop van. That kind of caught my attention.
Well, I love their explanation why. This comes from Albertville, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
A Marshall County woman is in the city jail for having her 13-year-old daughter ride in a cardboard box atop her van. Albertville police spokesman Sergeant Jamie Smith said Jackie Denise Knott, 37, of Albertville, was charged with endangering the welfare of a child. Smith said the child was turned over to a relative. Smith said police received a call Sunday morning of a minivan traveling on US 431 with a large cardboard box atop with a child inside. She was on a highway. Officers stopped the van on US 431, asked not why the child was riding atop the vehicle. The box was too big to fit to go inside the van, and she would be able to hold it down if she was inside the box, Smith said. When asked about the child's safety, Smith said Knott told the officer that she had the box secured to the van with a clothes hanger.
Because that's secure.
That's very secure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very secure and safe. That's even better than, say, a seatbelt. Let's give her 2.
I have to say, though, while that is a horrible thing, that is a very entertaining story. Thankfully, the child was not hurt.
Right. On a highway. What about the safety? Well, I had it tied down with a clothes hanger.
I mean,
What more do you want?
It's made out of metal.
It's just my daughter. So, what was your story you had to get to?
Well, it's not that I had to get. I wanted to read the headline, and then I'll read the story. The headline caught me off guard, and I misunderstood and thought it was actually something different than what it actually is. The headline says, "Driving lesson ends as crash course in bedroom." I thought maybe an older instructor maybe took advantage of a younger driving student. Anyhow, that's why it caught my attention, but it's still a pretty good story. This comes to us from Maryland. Police say a driving lesson on Good Luck Road, yes, that is the name of the road, Good Luck Road, ended with a minivan crashing through an apartment wall. It happened in Lanham, where apartment resident Robert Schreiber, his leg was hurt by flying debris. He said the minivan landed on top of a bed where he had just been lying minutes before. Police said a man was teaching his friend to drive when the accident occurred just after 10 a.m. Monday. Authorities say the driver was in the country illegally and didn't have a license. The man's friend didn't have a license either. Oh boy. Excuse me. Both are charged with reckless endangerment, and the driver has been also charged with driving without a license. So here we have a gentleman who is not licensed to drive, with his friend who is here in this country illegally, also not licensed to drive, teaching his friend how to drive. So I guess you could, learn to drive and be a good driver without a license, but I would think it's safe to say if you aren't even licensed to drive, you really aren't qualified to be teaching someone else. Anyhow, I found that to be an interesting story. Fortunately for Robert Scriber, who was hurt, fortunately he got out of bed, because if this had happened earlier while he was still in bed, I'm afraid he would have had serious injury, if not life-threatening injury, because the van landed on top of the bed. So I don't know if there was any alcohol involved. It was 10 o'clock in the morning, but somehow I think there was probably a good chance that alcohol was involved for someone to driving to the second floor of an apartment. Sounds like there's a good possibility there to me. Well, Eric has left us again, so you're just stuck with me, and I'm going to go on to my next story where alcohol was definitely involved. This comes to us from Waterloo, Iowa. Actually, Eric's on his way back, so I'm just going to wait for just a minute while he gets back here.
Sorry, somebody set the alarm off in my house.
Oh, that's all right. Do you have another story you want to share?
I do. Oh, I got a couple. Let's
okay.
We have a little bit of time left here. Let's see which one I think would be best. I've got one. I was going to follow this one up with your vampire story.
Okay.
I got two. I got one about a cantankerous old man, which I know you like.
Mm-hmm.
And I got one from the UK, and then I've got one from Ireland. Let's go with the one from Ireland first.
Okay.
This is from Dublin, which is my grandfather's from. Okay.
Your heritage.
My heritage. School asks pupils to bring their own toilet paper. I thought that was funny.
Sure it's not Mexico?
No, this is from Ireland.
Okay.
Irish parents struggling to buy school books and uniforms in the face of a deep recession may now have to worry about sending their children to school with toilet paper roll as well as a packed lunch. Pupils at a primary school in the southern county of Cork are being asked to bring their own toilet paper to school to help save money. One of the starkest examples of their poor economy. Anyway, I just thought that was funny. And then I've got another one coming from Melbourne about racing.
Mm-hmm.
Adult fans at one of Australia's most popular motorsports races will be limited to one slab of beer a day, which is basically 24 beers a day. They're really tightening down.
I mean, you know.
I wonder how they're going to monitor that. A 24-can rule would also be placed on mixed drinks. Thursday, which draws starting Thursday, the race draws thousands to the rural town, and the police, I guess, are tired of all the drunkenness, so they're putting a limit of 24 beers a day.
That should cut down on the drunken behavior.
It certainly should. I tell you, we're really 24 cutting down to 24 mixed drinks too.
Right. I mean,
that will really cut down on the drunken behavior.
I'm sure they will have. Everyone will be sober.
Yes.
Well, it's funny because I was just talking about a car where there was a gentleman who's not licensed to drive teaching his illegal alien, who's also not licensed to drive, how to drive on a road called Good Luck Road. And they crashed into the second floor of an apartment and landed on a bed.
Well, that was good luck.
And although they said they don't know if alcohol was involved, I can pretty much go ahead and tell you right now, even though it was 10 o'clock in the morning, I'm pretty sure it was.
I guarantee it.
And going with the drunk behavior, I have a story real quick. It comes to us from Waterloo, Iowa. Police said clerks at a convenience store that was robbed twice in recent months threw money at a man in a case of mistaken robbery. If he was robbing you, that's what he wanted you to do. The clerks at 5 Star Snacks and More thought they were being robbed last Thursday when they were confronted by a rambling man who had his hand in his pocket. Police Captain John Beckman said the clerks put money in a bag and threw it at the man, who left it alone and walked out of the store. Police said the man was drunk and the robbery suspicions were a mistake. The man was arrested for public intoxication, disorderly conduct, and interference. So I guess they were maybe feeling a little jumpy because of being robbed twice recently. This guy comes in there rambling, drunk out of his mind, hand in his pocket. They thought he had a gun. They just started throwing money at him.
Oh, my goodness. I've got one kind of like that.
Okay.
Well, actually, this is one of somebody actually was trying to rob somebody.
Okay.
This comes from, I don't know where it comes from, but a 78-year-old bank teller kicks out a would-be robber. Mm-hmm. We like old men to do that for themselves. A feisty septuagenarian, is that a word for a 78-year-old?
Someone in their 70s.
Someone in their 70s. Bank teller gave a would-be bank robber a piece of her mind, but no money, when he held up a Wachovia branch in Allentown on Friday.
There you go.
Wachovia, we have ties to Wachovia on the show.
Yes, we do.
Teller Helen Ross, 78, was at the counter of the bank on Friday afternoon when a man walked in and handed her a plastic bag and a note demanding her to fill up the bag with money. With that, the teller told him to get out. Get out! The Allentown Police Captain Daryl Hedrick said. Then the chastened wannabe turned and ran out empty-handed, except for the plastic bag and note. The man was last seen running north on 19th Street, and adding he's probably not going to brag about this to any of his friends.
Well, I like cranky old men.
This is a cranky old woman.
Cranky old woman.
Yeah.
Shoot them away. And it worked. Maybe the teller should start trying that. They come in and demand money, they should just say no.
I have one other good story I forgot I had.
Okay.
I think I should. Do you have another one you want to get to? Or
I only have one more. Is yours funny?
I think it is.
Well, then let me go with mine real quick, because mine's not funny.
Okay.
Jacksonville, Florida, city officials have condemned the home where a 71-year-old woman was found dead in a garbage piled 8 feet deep.
I read this story. This is disturbing.
The stench was so bad the police had to call in firefighters with breathing gear and eventually cadaver dogs to help find the body. Officers were checking late Tuesday after the worried family members called to say they hadn't heard from her in weeks. They were met what police called an unbelievable squalor and a stench that made some officers ill. After being unable to locate the woman Tuesday night, they re-entered the next morning and searched for about 20 minutes before calling for help. Cadaver dogs finally found her body near the front door. But I just found that, yeah, you're right, it is disturbing.
I mean,
but
8
first
of all,
of
this
trash.
is what disturbed me about it. First of all, 8 feet of trash
Right.
throughout the whole house.
Right.
They couldn't find her the first time they came. They had to come back.
And they still couldn't
second
find her.
time, couldn't find her. Had to wear special breathing apparatus to be in that house to begin with. And they couldn't find her until they got the cadaver dogs, which I honestly, the second thought that went through my mind was those poor cadaver dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're used to smelling dead, wretched stuff, but you know that had to be terrible for them.
Well, I mean, how much for trash to be 8 feet deep? Yes, that's incredible. But how much trash had to be in the house? I mean, if you walked in my house and there was a dead person, you would find them.
Right. I
mean, how much trash was in there? I mean, obviously this poor lady had some kind of mental disorder.
And normally you would go to the smell.
Right, but if it's got 8 foot of trash, the
everywhere.
smell's everywhere.
The smell is everywhere.
Right. And you know if there's 8 foot of trash, there's raccoons and snakes and rats and all manner of other animals have gone there and have died. So there's all manner of dead stuff in there. Oh, that's horrible.
It gave me the heebie-jeebies.
Absolutely horrible.
Okay. The title of my next story. Bag of cocaine shoots out of suspect's body at St. Lucie County gas station when he relaxed, deputies say. A 30-year-old man was arrested Thursday on a host of charges after a bag of cocaine shot out of his backside in a gas station, according to an affidavit released Friday. Investigators say they got a tip that cocaine was being transported in a brown Cadillac in the area of Interstate 95 in Midway.
I've been there.
Have you?
I have family there in Midway.
The investigators found the vehicle Thursday morning at a gas station at Midway and Glades Cutoff Roads. The affidavit gave this account. Oh, I lost the second half of the story. That's not good, is it? Oh, here we go. A man was pumping gas into the vehicle, and a drug-sniffing dog smelled narcotics in the vehicle in the area where the man was. They identified the man as Warren Leonard Wiley. He stood and to search Wiley turned up a crumpled dollar bill with cocaine in it. Wiley was then escorted to the men's room for a more detailed search. While being escorted, Wiley dropped his shorts in the middle of the store, stating, "I don't have nothing." Wiley's backside appeared clenched tight as he was hiding something while walking. His backside relaxed, and a clear bag with about 22 grams of cocaine in it shot out of it onto the storage floor. Wiley then kicked back with his foot, trying to kick the bag back, stating again, "I don't have nothing." Investigators said they found a .38 caliber revolver loaded with 5 cartridges in the man's car, and he was listed as unemployed. Anyway, let's go on. I just thought that was funny how that.
You're usually not used to see something white coming out of that orifice.
No, you.
Yeah, Midway is just west, it's just north and west of. My mind just went blank. Another town in Florida where I have family. It's unfortunate that area has gone to pot like that.
We only got 2 minutes left. This is a story I thought would make you angry.
Okay. Well, let's end the show on an angry note.
Church thief shot by California cop awarded $1.2 million.
Oh, my Lord.
San Francisco Bay Area City will pay $1.2 million to settle a lawsuit filed by a burglary suspect who is left paraplegic after being shot by a police officer. Let's see. Davis was suspected of burglarizing a church in 2007 when he was shot by the Oakland officer. Though Davis was unarmed, the officer said he mistook items that David was stealing from the church for a gun. Rick Simmons, Davis's attorney, says the money will be used to help the 49-year-old Davis with the basic needs of living as a paraplegic. The settlement comes after the council voted on September 22nd to approve a $1.5 million payment to the family of 20-year-old man killed by a 2007.
Yeah, we give police a hard time, but when they're not even allowed to do their job.
Right. And then the taxpayers have to pay the burglars for being injured while breaking the law.
Right.
I knew that would make you angry.
Maybe the police officer should maybe he should be taken off duty and put in the range until he learns to be a better shot. Because this could have all been avoided. He would have been a better shot. So.
Right. I didn't think of it that way, Chris, but that's a good way to look at it.
I mean, you know.
The guy was dead. He couldn't sue.
He was doing his job. The guy was breaking in. Forget that it was a church. He was breaking in and stealing stuff that didn't belong to him. And the guy thought he had a gun. If he didn't shoot, and the guy did have a gun, the officer could have been killed. And I guarantee you, the officer's family wouldn't have got jack squat from the burglar.
Right.
So, I mean, they should be allowed to do their job.
Yeah.
Okay, well, folks. Sorry for the technical difficulties we had.
Sorry for my
Eric's
scatterbrainness and having to run in and out.
But we will see you next week. Thank you, and have a good weekend. This has been Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, and we would like to thank you for listening to our show today. Don't forget to tune in for next week's show, live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we are every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time.